Okay, I got a question for you and a conversation for the divas.
Okay.
Let's talk about the checklist.
Ooh, I like
Now,
that.
I know that women typically have a checklist. They're like, wait a minute, he's not tall enough, he's not short enough, he's not whatever. Check, 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 check. And I always am a promoter of get rid of the checklist. When you are beginning to date, I want you to clean the slate and start with a new you. A new you. It's been years since you've been dating, probably. You're not the same person you were 20, 40 years ago or more. So, who are you today? And why don't we just go out and date and see what we like and see what we don't like and then go from there?
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you as a man? Do men have checklists?
Oh yeah. Heck
Oh, they
yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? Please share. Notes.
I
Take
think
notes.
the younger the man, the bigger the checklist.
Oh, that's good.
Well, and that's because your priorities change.
That's true.
You begin to understand what's truly important when you're older. We talked about this in a previous video. Maybe you can link it below. That we think it's easier to date when you're older.
Oh, yeah, I will link that
And
one.
and one of the reasons is hopefully we have a lot better understanding not only of who we are but what we want.
Oh,
This woman, ever since I've known her, as she's helping women, she's said the same thing. You really find out what you want by finding out what you don't want.
amen, amen. Okay, but when we're younger, the
Yeah.
checklist might be, I want to have babies, I want to have children, I want to raise a family. So those
Well,
are important check. That's important
but on a checklist.
on a checklist.
Well, but when you're younger, for a guy, it's like I want her blonde. I want her 5'4" or shorter. Now I'll tell you right now, on my checklist when I was in my early 20s, one of the things on there, I want an ex-cheerleader. Now the reason I wanted that is because I had played sports all my life, and I wanted somebody that had quote unquote school spirit. That we would have that in common, and
Wow.
they wouldn't have a problem with our kids playing high school sports.
Wow. You
So
learn something new every day.
every day. But as we get older, I don't necessarily think that it is a written list anymore. Back then, it was a written list. I had like 25, 30 things on the list.
Stop it. Like,
And
okay, certain height, blonde.
yeah.
What else?
Well, one of the things on my list, and again, now I didn't get this,
Come
but
on.
it was on my list.
Bring it. Let's hear.
Southern accent.
What?
I wanted to have a girl to talk to me with a Southern accent. And but it was on the list.
That's so funny.
Well,
I
it
love
is
that.
funny now.
Yeah.
And I never dreamed, by the way, that I would end up with a girl with a New York accent.
Yeah, who's not 5'2", by the way. All right, but now, you know what? We had a comment just recently because it sounds like we're talking about dating when we were in our 20s and 30s. So let's talk about the list now that you're in when you were in your,
Yes.
you're not dating
Yeah.
now, of course, because you're married to me.
Yes.
But what was
Well,
your
I
checklist?
am dating. It's just one person now. No, I'm dating her
Right.
exclusively.
No, okay, that's good. That's good. What was on your list in your mid 50s? Your
Oh,
mid.
number one, no drama. No drama.
Okay, yeah.
There was a couple of women that I went out with and drama queens. And I thought, nope, 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 no.
Now, I remember very clearly on when you first reached out to me through the dating app, because we did meet on a dating app, and one of the things you said was you genuinely look happy.
Yes.
And this is very important to share because number one, why would you want to date somebody who's not happy, right? But it happens.
Yeah.
Number two, I genuinely looked happy, and I'd only been dating for 6 months after,
Yeah.
and it was a year and a half after my late husband passed. Happiness comes from within,
Yes.
and I as well wanted no drama. I wasn't conscious about that. It wasn't a conscientious thought, but but I definitely knew, hey, I have just been through
You've been to hell and back.
hell and back,
And-
and I wanted to enjoy the company of a few good men.
Yes.
And Jeff stepped in and just made everybody go away. Well, because I fell in love with him so quickly, I was not looking for love. I was not looking for marriage, but we connected. But I digress. So my list was, I just wanted to enjoy the company of a few good men, have companionship, have dinner, maybe a cigar, maybe a drink, maybe sex, and then I wanted them to go away. I didn't want to even meet family. I didn't want to double date. I was living in a cocoon at that time.
Yes.
I was just coming out of my shell, and I was very clear about this in very nice ways. And all the men that I dated, or the few men, I shouldn't say like all the men, the few men I dated were on board and they understood. And when Jeff stepped into my life, I texted them and I said, my heart's been stolen. And it wasn't in a southern accent, but it was good. But
I was going to say, getting back to the list,
oh yeah, the list.
you need to be thinking and this is where it truly is important.
Yeah.
Having a checklist, whether it's written or in your mind, and I would even encourage you to write these things down. What is on the list that are deal breakers?
That's good.
Well, it's some guys, they're not going to open the door. And that's not really a deal breaker for some people. It might be for you.
Right.
And you might have all these reasons why. It doesn't make any difference on the reasons.
Right.
What are the things that are deal breakers for you? Right. We had one of the women that Donna helped, one of her deal breakers was teeth.
Yeah.
And she was dating this one man, and she came out and just asked him. I thought it was hilarious, but she said, would you be willing to go to the dentist for me and fix your teeth? And when he said no, it was over.
Yeah.
That was a deal breaker.
Yeah. I give her a lot of credit for having that conversation. They probably didn't date that long, but there was probably potential.
Yeah.
And so this is super important. And by the way, we want good hygiene. So and check your teeth. If they're yellowing, we get used to when you don't clean your house for a while, but all of a sudden you're going to have company, you run around the house, you're looking at your house through somebody else's eyes. We want to do that with ourselves.
Yes.
When you look in the mirror, and of course but this is all part of the checklist. You look at yourself through somebody's eyes. How is your hair? Is it the same style you had when you were in high school? You might want to do a little internet search to find what's the most up and coming for you. Yeah. If your teeth are yellow, and you can take a piece of paper and compare that, find out why they're yellow, or go get a cleaning, or not necessarily cleaning, a brightening a system. Do something. And this is super important because you don't want to be a turn off. No. Remember, we talk about the sign above the head and your smile to be inviting to have a conversation. That's all we're talking about here.
Yeah. But again, I'm going to keep bringing it back to the checklist.
Thank you.
Well, be honest about what you are willing to accept, what you're not. Right. And one of the things this woman here she has talked about this ever since I've known her. She's told women, date with your eyes closed. When the number one thing on your checklist is the weight and height, there's a possibility, divas, that the guy he would go through mountains, let alone over them for you. He's the one that you're going out with, but he's just he's 5'10", and I was hoping to get somebody about 6'2", or now, do you want somebody that's tall, or somebody that is going to love you, cherish you, protect you, provide for you, and make you feel like you are the only woman on this planet when it comes to him?
Yeah, and I do feel that way about you, honey. Thank you so much.
Well, you are.
Yeah, thank you. This is perfect. Yeah. We're going to sign off here because I don't want this video to keep going longer. But remember, divas, the bottom line is,
it doesn't have to be that hard.